Okay, so the formula to answer this question is actually quite simple, although it didn't take, I kind of had to do it the long way, and I feel that for all those people that need to do it the long way, this is how it's done, because otherwise, you can't just assume that everyone knows to do things very simply. So let's just see how this question goes. Suppose a bond pays a simple interest rate of 4.5% per annum under ACT 360, so 360 days in a year. What is the equivalent simple interest rate under assuming 365 days in a year? So if we just take out the simple interest formula, where we would have some amount, let's say some principal amount P, we would have 1 plus, so that's going to be itself, add on some interest component, and the interest rate over here will be 0.05 times some time amount, which is ACT over 360. And that's going to equal, it's meant to be equivalent to the same principal amount times 1 plus some interest amount, which we don't know what it is, which is what we're trying to figure out, times the time amount, ACT, and instead of 360 days, 365 days in a year. So all we have to do is solve for I. So now it actually looks quite a bit simpler. But before, when I saw this in my head, I couldn't have assumed that it would have been 0.045 times 365 divided by 360. Just didn't get it in my head. So we can divide P on both sides. We don't need the brackets anymore. We can minus 1 on both sides. We don't need this anymore. So now all we're left with is 0.045 times ACT on 360, and that's meant to be equal to some interest rate times ACT divided by 365. We can leave ACT, that's like saying X or anything like that, it's just a value that we don't know yet, but it'll be the same on both sides. So all we have to do is we can really get rid of the ACT, because we're going to divide it both sides, and then we just have to multiply both sides by 365. So we get rid of this, and this side will then be multiplied by 365 over here. So we can say that I equals 365 times the interest rate of 4.5% divided by 360. And so that answer is, using the calculator, is 365 times 0.045. So that divided by 360 equals, so it's 4.56%. 4.56%, or depending on however you want to write it, like that. But this is, I think, the way. If they gave the question to you in a percentage form, then you might as well give it back to them in a percentage form. And that's the answer.